Yeah?
Exactly. That's exactly what we will do. We go now to the next chapter. We are done with MDR, or who has problems with MDR anymore? Please don't put your hands up, because that would be embarrassing. So MDR is done, 7 years of time done. Now we get a new regulation, the AI Act. And that will be the next step on our wonderful ladder to regulatory heaven, which we all should not go. We should keep it minimalistic as possible and see what we can go. So let's see what we can do. And well, yes. Are we already on time? Think so? Yeah. So we got, from regulators' perspective, we found the new devil. With MDR, there was the implementation of Rule 11 software as a medical device as standalone products, which is a huge step for the regulation itself. However, actually not that big, because we could have medical device software in the past as well. So nothing cool, nothing new. But now, that was the starter, the warm-up. So that was the initial fight of the day, just the warming program, because we got the new devil, the AI Act. And now, the things will be really funny. Even for us regulators, we all see that the same. It's super funny with AI now, because what we had in the past was, well, I was born with an old law, Elektromedizinische Geräteverordnung, from 1986. That was my original one. Then I lived my childhood and all that with MDD, and so MDR, well, it was a step. And now we got something completely new, which we have no idea about. Not really a good idea, but I give you the insights I heard from our regulatory bodies, from our notified bodies, whatever I got from other agencies, how to interpret and think about it. I'm not a lawyer, and all that knowledge you gain today will be subject to change within the next few months. Because that's what I can give you now as an impression. We will see what will end up. So, we have our new devil, the AI Act. Well, actually, does anyone know how many regulations in AI we have worldwide? AI for healthcare. Any idea how many? Are we the first one in Europe? Yes? No, we're not. Are we the second one? Yes? No, we're not. An idea? Regulations? AI specific regulations for healthcare? I can tell you, it's 43. 43 other regulators and regulatory bodies thought about that. Well, but why are we the first one in Europe? Why we do claim that it's our own goal? We are the first one with a complete horizontal one with every AI. If it's an AI in a washing machine, if it's an AI in a cardiac pacemaker, it doesn't matter. There we are the one. So we regulated everything. And that won't be a super one, that was a good one. All others made that by sector. So sector-wise for healthcare, sector-wise for cars, sector-wise for washing machines if needed. And we did it for everything. So AI Act, that's a pure evil. But we need to overcome that. Well, we need to do that. If we want to take a good approach, also as a manufacturer authority, and I speak a lot with authorities in the current time, we look into other organizations, like we look to US FDA, what are they doing for our healthcare program, and then we look to China and South Korea. We will not tell anyone that we look to China, look upwards to China and to South Korea. We don't tell that, but we do, because they are clever with their guidances, and we could harvest it. We can take advantage. So also from the Japanese side, they have also great guidances already available, and that is something we should take part with and should get the knowledge. Yeah, and the others, Canada and Australia, are a bit more relaxed from that situation. They are a bit behind us. Okay, that's fine. They can take their time to do that well. Let's see how it comes out. But actually, think about that. We're not the first one. We have 43 examples to look at what we want to take, and we can be sure there will not be a harmonization worldwide. We can be sure that will not work. That was the positive part for today. But let's see what will be next. So, since now we have the fun with the AI Act, we have the information what to take first, we can take a lot about what are common goals. And the goals are not that different. Whilst MDR has in the past focused a lot on overall safety, clinical effectiveness, especially and or including software, that's one thing that makes it, well, that makes the product valuable. It makes it worse. So, worthy, it brings value to the product. And now we get a twist with the AI Act, because the AI Act does not take care about is the product valuable for you? Does it have a positive outcome? It tells you now, it requests us, if we use AI, we need to ensure that we can articulate it, think about it, and then explain it to many, many people how it works and how it will bring value. So that's paradigm-wise, or from the shift from how to take a regulation, that's huge. Focusing on outcome to focusing on some kind of technology you can use, or some kind of technology or constraint you can use for anything, and try to make the best out of it. That's why it is a horizontal regulation. It covers everything. Some people say that's the next step on the lasagna. Do not like Italian food so much, so I will not take that part in that step. However, and that's good for us, it helps us a lot to think about the goals. Not only what we had, full function, product value, product, how it can help someone, but also, is that product something we should have in the data and the ethics? So take our goal a bit bigger, make the intended purpose we had for each medical device from intended use to intended purpose now to an even bigger scope, but always consider that we have a shared or somehow concentrated or close goals to each other which are helpful. So, and now we go back to basics. That's the goal, and well, luckily all of that regulations work in the same way or pattern together to think about a solution in a way. If you cannot control an outcome, which you can't do by software by intention, you need to control its process. We had that with MDR, we had that, well, even prior to MDR, with MDD, we had that in the standard of 62304, that medical device software standard, how you develop a medical device. That's the same approach, or our most beloved standard for risk management, 14971. That's a process standard. Why? Because you cannot control the outcome in the product, you need to control the process. And with the AI Act, we do it the same. So we start with the initial things about, well, quality management system. Yes, we do not need to align in 4971. In that case, we could take different approaches. And also, and then the next one will be how to make it ethical and ensure data governance. Well, when we go in the medical device area, we want to make a clinical trial and we talk about ethics, we go to the ethics committee. I'm part of the ethics committee of University of Nuremberg Erlangen, and I can tell you will not care about that questions. About is the data ethical? I care about is the function ethical, not about the data. So who cares about that? And that's the fun thing. That is, again, the question to the manufacturer. You need to ensure that if you want to use AI in Europe, that you are ensuring an approach to make your data and the data set ethical to be used, have a model of data governance, that you have the right data on the right side, on the right spot available to ensure everything is quite clear and explainable, and you ensure also that, that data is participating in the journey of your product development and the usage. In the past it was super easy. An ECG system, an ECG device, an ECG software algorithm does exactly what it shall do. You get the data, analyze it, you find brachycardy, tachycardy and whatever, bradycardy, tachycardy, and then you get an outcome and it tells you, you have this problem, you have that problem, you have no problem. Well, as an algorithm, super easy. It's mathematically. And now we create the same in an AI. Yeah. At which point of the AI is it ethically assumable and clear that it might have an issue in the calculation because of a wrong pre-stored model or an issue in the pre-stored model? As a technical expert of the product, I can tell you, I don't care. I don't care about where is the problem, I care about how to solve it. And so, thinking about that ethicality, there we are better than all the guys from the washing machines or white products or red products or others, because we have something which is cooler than that, and that's a clinical evaluation. In the clinical evaluation, you exactly make that kind of equation about this outcome of the data is ethically to be usable. That gives you the performance. Well, go with performance. Performance specifications, we have said in the medical device area a long time. All medical and electrical products, nearly all, have a 60601-1 or -2 standard. And the -2 standards, what is there in most of them included? Essential performances and parameters for algorithms. Sensitivity and specificity. Yeah, these are things we need to incorporate. It's an ethical model at the end on the performance. It's cool because it takes a lot of the effort we had in the medical device world anyway. But now, with AI in addition, you get one additional factor. You need to ensure that the data model creation and usage was also ethical in the usage or the creation of the data. Design of the data, or design or creation of the data by the design and development. How do you do that in medical devices? We have a super simple answer. We do clinical trials. We do prospective and retrospective clinical trials. We take the data we have from clinical trials to get the data to ensure we are very less biased. We ensure that the data quality is sufficient. We ensure that our data quality is exactly what we aim to do. So, from our side, as medical device manufacturers, we are very good on that steps. On the other industries, who have that nice horizontal standard, they will have lots of problems. Yeah. One thing which is also pretty important is the data governance point. Well, looking into standard, it's not that hard to explain what we can do. There is already a standard, ISO 27001. Takes everything you need. So now comes the catch. In many kind of medical devices, when you go in reimbursement, at least in Germany and other countries, you need to have a certification for the 27001. Valuable? We will see. However, it is needed. Okay, then we do that. Now with AI Act, the 27001 can be utilized to take the data governance into account to ensure data governance is cleared. And you have that without certification to that point. No certification of 27001 is needed for that approach in the governance of the data. However, it wouldn't be Europe if we don't have a certification module inside of our AI products. We have the conformity assessment as in the medical devices. Not yet the same module types or the same annexes to be used. However, same area, same approach, also same fund with notified bodies to take that into account. So, where are we in that step? Conformity assessment is one of the mandatory and needed things. And we have there a little and nice part in the AI Act. We have the 4 classification that looks rather similar. We have the same one in medical device area. But luckily, in medical devices, all products are allowed if they have sufficient clinical data and the clinical data is beneficial for the human. In AI, there is a part of AI which is not allowed, the banned AI. So those are deepfake systems, those are products which ensure more into the direction I want to have my user, so my final user, giving a wrong perception about anything, and I want to manipulate him or her in a specific situation. Well, in the past we called it fraud. It was quite simple. Yes, that shall not be allowed. Also, there are also other social marker and highlighters which are banned. But going back to medical devices, unfortunately in our area, it's quite simple. We are in the high-risk products. No matter what. You have an AI in a medical device, you are an AI Act high-risk product. If it's a class 1 medical device software with an AI, if it's a class 3 software with an AI, so pacemaker or ECG system or I don't know, a class 1 medical device software product for any kind of prevention, I don't know which one, all of those will be high-risk AI systems. Makes our life easier because we only need to learn one way of conformity assessment. We don't need to have all the ways of conformity assessment, just that one is sufficient. And therefore we go directly into the comparable strategy and go to conformity assessments. Yes, and that's a good one. It's all needed until 2nd of August 2027. If we have notified bodies or not, that's the deadline. We don't have notified bodies yet, but that's the deadline. That's same when we thinking about repeating issues from the past. MDR, what did they do first? They set up timelines, and then they found out, oh, that will be a problem. Since we like to repeat our issues and our problems, we do that again the same with the AI Act. We set the expectation, and then we hope that it can be fulfilled. I can tell you from a few discussions I had with politicians of the European lawgivers, they doubt that this timeline will be feasible. Yeah, I wonder how. We have no notified body yet, and no notified body was able to submit a package to accreditation or notification yet. They cannot do that yet because they're not. The route for their notification is not available, but we expect that the products are conformity assessed until 2027. It will not work, but at the end of the day, like always, we will find solutions. Shifting the deadline a year or an additional year, and then we'll see what will happen. All right, but good thing for us, since we are so much advanced in the medical device conformity assessments, for anyone, since you do a lot of photos, afterwards you will get the full presentation on YouTube as well, thanks to Munir El Azzouzi from Easy Medical Device. And also if you want the slides, you can get them. So it's better than the image quality, but without me in that case. So since we know a lot about that with the conformity assessment, yet we can utilize the information from the medical device regulations or IVD regulations, because there's a huge overlap already in the certification modules and the requirements and what we can do already with the AI products in our MDR space. And since it is also a lot of focus on how it can be transparent, described, and description of transparency is, in our cases, measured as technical documentation amount of paper. For us, and in the AI world, for transparency for the individual user who utilizes it, we can utilize already a lot of that kind of information. So it helps us now because we know how to deal with documents. It helps us also how we deal with conformity assessments. And since both have the same goal, overall same goal, about user protection and safety with an additional regulatory layer, we are in advance against the others. So, what does it mean for us? Now with certification, conformity assessment. At that point, we have a notified body. We, as manufacturers, need to be super fast. Since we know how they work, since we know how they will interact, we are advanced against the automotive guys, we are advanced in front of all the other guys from industry and others who don't have that kind of concept. We have a benefit as healthcare community. we shall use that. Be fast, be quick, and try to convince your notified parties that you're ethically done everything that's needed. So, a bit about the transparency, because that's called a lot, and it's not exactly the same. Transparency is, in the AI Act world, a description of reproducibility for an individual user of the device. Yeah, it's a description of validity of a product. It's not new. For anyone who created active implantable pacemakers or defibrillators, you need to set up the impulse and how the impulse is working and the impulse energy is transferred. You need to set up in your user manual since, I don't know, 1990? It's nothing new. But now we need to do that in a model which is ensured that it cannot be done. So, neuronal networks. Transparency. The goal of a neuronal network is to store data in a weird, non-describable way. In a way that it has layers, concentration areas, it has additional layers, more values, more layers, and then it finds data in correlation and setups. Yeah. The goal is to be not predictable, but somehow stochastical. So transparency by itself is not possible. Unfortunately, the technology, and that technology is in that case our reality, cannot give us in the neuronal networks a possibility to describe transparency if you have more than 3 layers. It's not a problem. Same like we do with notified bodies. We argue. We describe how we think the transparency can be taken into account and what is the achieved transparency by if we enter the data in the following setup, then we expect our outcome to be X, Y, Z. If our data is set up in a different structured way, we expect our data in that way. If you have the following key words and key ingredients in your queries or in your model included and in your request, then your data will be in the following way, or the output will be in the following way. Since we do not have too much good examples, because there are no example yet, I will tell you in 2 years how it went out. But that's actually all we can do, and that's what our regulatory guys, our lawmakers tell us. Well, if you cannot make it technically describe it in verbal words and make it sound nice, so that you get an explanation which can be followed by a user, because you need to put it into the user information, but you can ensure that 99% of the users will not read it, and the other one will not understand it. So, write it in the way like it was. And the example came then, actually, that was the example then, well, we did that with defibrillators in the past as well, we put the shock energy. Yes, but that's predictable. That's a predictable value, that's a curve which is ensured, which is clear. It's not a new holistic approach. We will see how that will end up, but it will be a lot of fun to see that. Responsibility, yeah. We are pretty equal with MDR and IVDR Act. All problems to the manufacturer, whilst the manufacturer blames the notified body. We had that, so nothing new, pretty good. But we could utilize that, get the information, because the same requirements are a bit included into that. So requirements for AI, cybersecurity, AI documentation, transparency, AI for our high-risk systems, and also with MDR we know how to do a risk analysis. So, going back, what do we need to include? We need to include all those risks which are relevant for the outcome, so diagnosis, therapeutic purpose. We are including all those risks, yeah, we need to do that anyway. We include all the risks with the technical availability and the technical reliability. Cybersecurity and product reliability, we need to do that anyway. And then, in the next one, we add all the information how to make a safe and clear product. Yeah, Yeah. Addition, one thing which I want to add there now with the AI Act, the point about how the model will or could work and what's the risks associated with them. So the decision algorithm or the algorithm itself, its qualification and its risks need to be included as well. But hey, we did this for medical devices, it's the same. It's like if a device breaks or part of the device breaks, we need to ensure how we can make mitigations or what kind of boundaries we can use. So, a few what happens. The first one is the notified body does not get notified for AO Act, for EU AI Act. If that happens, we have a big problem. We have one declaration of conformity and we have one CE mark for our medical devices because there's no additional gap to add 2 CE marks and 2 declaration of conformities yet. And that will be a lot of fun, how that will be fiddled out. But, as you remember, MDR is a regulation, not a directive. It can be changed. They found the problems that we get 2 DOCs in that cases, and that will be a huge thing. In case our notified body does not get the conformity assessment procedures for, is not notified for EU AI Act, then we need to ensure we get a different solution with a different notified body, either change completely or make a splitted declaration of conformity, which is not yet put in the MDR world, will be later. Fortunately not yet available. We hope that it will be done on time. Second one, the deadline arrives. Yeah, that's the most common one. We hope for an extension. That's all we can do because we don't think it will be feasible. We try to be as fast as possible, but you cannot steer what a notified body and the EU Commission and also your membership, who is of your member state, who is in control of, say, AI organizations, can do correctly. Yeah. What happens if you claim your device is not an AI, but it is an AI? It's a nice game. Okay, if your device is built on an AI model, it's just a model, then it was like we did in the past, created an algorithm. That algorithm is fixed, it will be placed, done, no AI. The development tool itself is not falling under your conformity assessment procedure for your product. The development tool, like TensorFlow, they need to take care about it on their own. It's not yours. So, point number 2, if you claim your product is including an AI, has a real AI, you claim it's not an AI, and someone finds that, will be a lot of fun. There's no real law policy now available how you can really be judged and challenged, because that law is new. No one has said yet. We will need to find out what happens then, but keep in mind, do not be fraudulently taking the wrong route. In the meantime, and that's a tricky point, as long as the deadlines are not yet available and you need to issue a new MDR DOC with an AI included, however you do not have an AI Act yet, it will become a problem because you actually MDR Annex 4 requires you to put all the regulations on the DOC would be applicable, however they are not yet fulfilled because they cannot be fulfilled. In that case, the current situation will be that the lawmakers give you the points that you have a partially application available until you have the full conformity assessment done. But it needs to be like you do now in the transition phase, take it into that. So unfortunately, I see that my time is off, but if you want to have more on that, I can give you a lot of slides about what happens with failures we see by AI products, in addition with what are my solutions for what we do with MDR currently, but I run out of time because it's such a funny and nice topic. And I want to give the last things about for you to have a few questions, and then for everything else I can just say thank you for participating, thank you for watching, and if you want to see more and learn about how I solved all my MDR problems with AI, I can give you that in a very nice way. Just give me a call, just drop me a mail or LinkedIn. I will be happy to share everything I have. Thanks a lot, and for the rest for questions.
Thanks, Stefan. Thanks so much for showing us the new devil.
Yeah,
Great.
sometimes it looks cute.
So, unfortunately, there is no time left for questions. So
Okay.
catch him afterwards.
Yeah.
Where can they find
I
you?
will be right next at G40 with Stefan Smith, who nicely presented the Suppliers Forum. So you can find me there, or otherwise you'll find me on LinkedIn. And either you find me with my company Bio Quality, or you can find also a lot of information from myself or shared knowledge together with Munir Al-Susi from easymedicaldevice.com. There you get a lot of information about that as well. Thanks a lot and have a lot of fun.
Thanks again.